Welcome back to the Makers of MidCity podcast. I'm your host, Clark Dunn.
I'm Jeremiah Gage, asset manager at RCP Companies.
And I'm Nadia Niakasri, director of development for RCP.
Yeah, so this is a fun episode. It's like one of the only episodes we've done with two people from RCP talking about RCP and talking about MidCity. And today's episode's all about 2024, highlighting what has opened, groundbreakings, construction updates, all the numbers at which MidCity has been able to really bring to the Huntsville community and to the area at large. So Nadia, you want to kind of start with talking a little bit about some of these openings that we've had here at MidCity?
Oh yeah, lots happened in 2024. So that's why I needed my notes here just to make sure I don't forget anything. Got Jeremiah for support. Thank you, Jeremiah, for being my co-host here today. So yeah, 2024 was a big year for us. We had 3 new tenants open at MidCity, being Squeeze Massage, opened earlier this year. And then we had Blue Oak Barbecue finally open, which has been awesome and exciting. If you haven't had their brisket yet, highly recommend if you're a brisket guy or girl. And then we had Tupelo Honey as of late. And Tupelo Honey has had an amazing opening. The whole team there has been ecstatic about how strong of an opening that they've had, one of their strongest openings. I believe the manager told you, Jeremiah, right?
Yeah, one of their strongest ever across the country. It's pretty incredible.
And this is their first location in the state of Alabama.
That's right.
Too. I mean, I've visited the locations in Chattanooga a ton, and I remember when the announcement happened, and I was like, I just cannot wait to give it a try. And I think I was there the first week it opened, and it does not disappoint.
Yeah, Huntsville really showed out for that opening, and that's been really strong. So they just opened in the corner of Stack Street and MidCity Drive, in the retail space under Metronome. So that's been really exciting. Speaking of Metronome, big year for Metronome. We stabilized this property. We're currently sitting at, and this will change when this episode comes out maybe, but currently sitting at 96% leased.
Wow.
Which is really great for, if you listen to Michael Gross's episode earlier this year, he talked a lot about the multifamily market in Huntsville right now. Has been really interesting because we were a bit oversupplied this year. So absorption has been a little challenging. So we always talk about how like MidCity, we sit at a really good competitive advantage because the people who are moving to Huntsville, they want to live in walkable environments. And so Metronome being steps away from Trader Joe's and Apollo Park and all these restaurants that are here and more that are opening. We have seen great numbers in that occupancy and just getting better.
Yeah, and a quick shout out to the Metronome team who's done an excellent job, the leasing team. I mean, especially in a macroeconomic market like we've seen over the last year, to be able to really push through, especially with the supply of apartments in Huntsville, to get it to that 96% occupancy is just incredible.
Yeah, and it's cool too to see as someone on the outside that gets to visit MidCity and be a part of it, seeing more people live here and seeing people walk places instead of drive places is a step in the direction that I think. If you would have told me 10 years ago that would have happened in Huntsville, I would have been like, you're lying, but it's happening and it's not going to slow down anytime soon. But I think what's also unique about what y'all do at MidCity and kind of what 2024 looked like is not just these openings that y'all have done and that you've brought these new businesses into the Huntsville community and into the state of Alabama, but you've also the ways in which you engage with and activate the district. Talk a little bit about some of these events and kind of what you've been able, how 2024 went as far as, activating the district.
Oh yeah. Our camp team and our MidCity Association team was definitely busy this year too. We had over 300 days of activation. So 300 of 365 days, this place was activated, which is awesome. They did, I'm going to check my notes here. They did over 1,400 hours of activities. They had over 250 local vendors, crafters, growers, throughout all of the markets, both the market at MidCity and the holiday market at the end of the year that we do every year, which that holiday market this year, we checked the data. We had about 20,000 people come through that day, just on that one day, which was huge for us. Donated over $25,000 to local charities. And we have a goal each year to do at least 5 massive festival type events that really bleed into the district from the camp. And this year we had 13. So that was a good year for us, that we really activated the entire district, just even beyond like the camp walls.
Yeah. And that's part of what makes MidCity, so different, is that we're trying to create a community aspect, right? And in order to do that, you have to bring the community together. And that's with these large events. And it's so impressive that our camp team and our MidCity Association team was able to throw over double the number of events we had in our goals for this year. So incredible job.
I think what's cool too, it's this collaborative nature that MidCity offers. It's new and unique ways of doing things, new events that have never been seen before. And I think kind of tying into that level of, innovation and what is being done at MidCity, but also what MidCity is also a part of. And the Apollo Foundation is something that's pretty unique. We've talked a little bit about it on past episodes, but Jeremiah, you want to talk a little bit about what the Apollo Foundation did in 2024, and maybe even what is the Apollo Foundation? Yeah,
so I'll go into what the Apollo Foundation is. So it is a charitable organization that we utilize to help, number one, throw events that help bring the community together, focused on music and the arts, and to create those non-STEM, as we like to call it, the science. I can't even remember what all the STEM initials are, but to help draw those in an area like Huntsville, which is so engineering focused and defense focused. We want to provide more diversity in the programs that we offer, and that includes also we do a program with Generator to help incubate startups within the North Alabama community, not just from Huntsville, but from all over the North Alabama community. And we're even bringing people in, partnering with Innovate Alabama through the Sweet Home Alabama grant, to bring people in from outside of the state of Alabama to move to Huntsville to create their startups. We were able to bring in 3 companies this year that moved their all of their resources, all of their staff, and moved to Huntsville, Alabama. And actually, they live right here in Metronome. So it was really cool. Those are just some of the goals that we had. We had so far with the Generator program, we've had about 68 companies come through that have raised over $50 million. So we're very proud of what this program has accomplished, and we're looking to keep growing into the future.
Yeah, and I think, it's something that I think maybe on the outside that I see is, sometimes gets left out. Like, I think, I see a lot of the Generator stuff. I see a lot of the Apollo Foundation, but it's, for numbers like that, it's like, we shouldn't overlook that. Like, that's incredible. It's getting put back into the economy here, and bringing, I literally just met somebody that y'all have brought here from Dallas for his startup. And I think that that's you wouldn't be able to find that anywhere else. And I think that's such a unique thing. Nadia, talk a little bit about some of the other sort of projects or things that have started in 2024 that maybe we will see moving into 2025.
Before we get into that, I just have to talk a little bit more about Generator.
Yeah.
They just put out an awesome new premiere of all the companies that they had go through their program this year. Maybe not all of them were highlighted, but it just shows how much support is put into these startup companies with the goal of maybe the next Uber, Airbnb is founded right here in Huntsville, Alabama. So like you just mentioned, you just talked to Maurice, who we'll hopefully have on the episode here, but his company, they utilized a very unique grant program called Sweet Home Alabama. They won the grant there to move their headquarters to Huntsville, and they get free rent at Metronome for a year. And that's a great support for a new company that's starting up with minimal resources to really hone in and focus on their startup. Yeah. So we, as RCP and the Apollo Foundation, which is our 501c3 that supports these types of initiatives, want to see more entrepreneurs flourish right here in Huntsville through that. And then going even further back for a second, talking about the activations that we did throughout the district. I think one of my highlights of this year was an Apollo Foundation supported event that I think this is either the second or third year that we hosted at MidCity. WhistleStop.
Second, yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, WhistleStop was so good this year. Yeah. It was actually the same weekend as Billy Strings.
Which was amazing. I was at Billy Strings and I was just like, this is insane.
Did you see that Billy Strings
Came and played on stage? That's amazing.
Showed up. They showed up on stage at WhistleStop with Leftover Salmon.
Yeah. And then they brought Leftover Salmon on stage.
And they brought
on the
Leftover
second
Salmon
half
on stage
of
at the Orion.
his set list. And I thought at first it was going to be like 1 or 2 songs. And they sat on for like 5 or 6 songs, maybe even more than that. And it was just I think that was one of those moments that I think I realized how vast MidCity is, and also just how diverse it is.
Yeah. What
Because
a cool
it was
moment.
like, I mean, you'd people that were probably eating at, Blue Oak that had no idea WhistleStop was going on.
Mm-hmm.
You had people that were having, ramen and like, wait, what's going on over there? And you had Billy, it's like this diversity from end to end is incredible.
There's multiple types of experiences that you can have throughout the district on any day, on any given day, hopefully. So that was a really unique moment that I thought would be a really cool highlight for 2024. And speaking of music, the camp also had, and I'm going to check my notes here because it was a lot. In 2024, the camp hosted 290 total artist performances, which included 200 local musicians. 130 of those were all original music artists, which adds up to 208 nights of live music.
Wow.
So that's, over almost a third of the entire year was activated with live music. And that's another, big goal and initiative, and what we like to call a soft layer of RCP companies. Our soft layers at RCP are all the things that we do in between the buildings, right? The different types of initiatives and programming to support different initiatives, like artist development, for example. So another 2024 highlight, we established a really cool partnership with East Iris Studios in Nashville. They are a Universal Music Group backed studio where they do these really cool things called live nights. And it's an artist development program as a Universal Music Group initiative to nurture up and coming artists and hopefully sign them with a Universal Music Group label. They have these live nights where they live stream 4 to 5 up and coming musicians inside of one of their studio spaces in East Iris. So we did a really cool collaboration with the city of Huntsville's music office. Shout out Matt Mandrella. And we took Nashville artists and brought them down to Huntsville and did a East Iris takes over the camp live night here. And then we did the opposite. We took North Alabama based artists and took them up to East Iris for a Huntsville takeover of live night there. In the room, there were label representatives from Virgin Records and multiple other labels right there in the room that were watching Huntsville artists perform, and they were amazed. They were that out of Huntsville, Alabama, they didn't know that there was such a great music community here, and so that was something really special that we're going to keep doing. And all of this is being live streamed and recorded for archival purposes. So hopefully one day you say, oh my gosh, I saw JT Lux on stage at the camp. And then you see him
at
the Orion or at Red Rocks or whatever.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That was really cool partnership that we started in 2024 that I'm really proud of.
Yeah, I think those soft layers that are interwoven within MidCity, I think are some of the, maybe even though we categorize them as soft layers, they're a pretty big weight in which
huge impact.
Huge impact, and I think it's often maybe what the public sees the most of, which I think is a really cool thing too, because it's it's a soft layer, but it's these huge festivals, it's these acts, it's these musicians, it's these things that maybe didn't necessarily think they were going to have the weight that they do, but they really drive a lot of the growth that MidCity's seen.
For sure. These soft layers are what really stands us out as developers, that we really focus on. Generator is a soft layer of ours. This artist development program is a soft layer of ours. Supporting groups like Hatch, which is a hospitality training program, that's another soft layer. And these soft layers, and we say this a lot, the soft layers in between the buildings are what make a great impact, the best impact, that are beyond these walls of these buildings that we develop and build. So they're really important to like Jeremiah was saying, to make a community flourish and really help create those connectivities between two people who may not have otherwise connected, like you just running into Maurice and, you know, exchanging contact information and hopefully maybe starting something with them in the near future.
Yeah, I think, I mean, it was interesting. And I think back to one of the first episodes we did this year when we had the lead developer.
Rob Robinson, the master planner.
Podcast.
Yeah.
And it was one of the things he mentioned after we were talking all about like the design, the blueprints, coming to like all the things that are pretty big things.
Yeah.
He said his favorite thing was when he's at the camp or he would visit and he sees two people talking to each other that they never thought would be in the room together. That's why we do what we do.
Yeah.
And that was just like, okay, that sums it all up. And I think that as MidCity continues to grow and goes through these iterations and stages, that being at the forefront of why we're doing this, I think is pivotal into the success it will have.
Right. And I think our team, you know, especially has bought into that vision as well. You know, our entire team, you know, people see RCP and MidCity and they're saying real estate development, but it's more than that. It's community development. It's neighborhood development. And so that, you know, I'm so proud to work with people like Nadia, who everyone is focused on that mission of we're not just a real estate developer. We're out here building an entire community where people can come together and celebrate together. People from all different backgrounds and all, you know, diverse groups of people.
Totally. But the buildings are also important.
Yeah. Not to mention,
we're only about 30% of the way done with MidCity. I know we say that stat sometimes on this podcast, but yeah, so when people come out here and they see, I had a meeting at Starbucks this morning with somebody and they were like, gosh, every time I come out here, there's something new happening. And like, yeah, and this is only 30% of the way done. So we got a good way to go. Just you wait. So with that said, things that we started in 2024 that we'll see either progress or hopefully open in 2025. You'll come out here and see both Anthem House and Wellery have progressed really nicely and almost to completion. Anthem House is looking to open in maybe end of Q1, beginning of Q2 of 2025. And then Wellery is going to open summer of 2025. So Anthem House, where it's a hospitality residential multifamily project where built like multifamily but operates like hospitality. So we're working with a management company called Placemaker, who is going to we're going to fully furnish half of those units, and they're going to operate like hotel rooms. So you can come in to stay for a week, couple months at a time. Really suited for that corporate traveler coming into Huntsville for contracts within the Arsenal and Research Park. So unique product in Huntsville that we're excited about. Those are the units. They're all micro units above. The second floor, we're working on a management agreement with a co-working space operator. So kind of like a WeWork-esque project. I won't say their name yet because it's not quite complete yet, but really excited about them. And that'll be a nice add to MidCity's ecosystem to have people like office space right in the district. And then below we'll have retail space. So the entire bottom floor of Anthem House, you'll have the lobby, the retail space. And then cool thing I'm working on with a local restaurateur, Nick Quinn, shout out Nick. We are designing a vinyl bar cafe. So reason I'm being a little vague about it is that we're in design on the concept right now, but it'll be have coffee service during the day and then a heavy cocktail program at night. And we really want to have a vinyl bar feel to it, where it's a really popular concept in cities like Mexico City and Miami. And we went to one in Nashville a few weeks ago for inspiration, where the DJ is playing vinyls. And I think that'll be really good for, like, I think Huntsville will really take to it.
Yeah,
Huntsville loves a nice nostalgia.
Loves vintage stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, like the amount of, I feel like records and vinyl is one of those things that have definitely gone through have reemerged over the last
For
couple of
sure.
years. And I think, something like this, I mean, we've been able to talk a little bit about the project in more depth, but it is such a cool thing looking at inspiration like Dante's Hi-Fi and other places throughout the country that really do a cool job and create an experience. And it's gonna be cool to have that experience within the experience of MidCity. And I think that's what every little piece of MidCity is its own unique experience within the grand scheme of things.
Definitely. New concept for MidCity. I'm excited about not just MidCity, but a new concept for Huntsville. It's going to have, we're going to hopefully have live music in there as well. We're going to have like a drum kit, piano, and do some really interesting collaborations, hopefully with the camp and Orion. So we got a lot of great ideas for this space.
Well, I was going to say, Clark, just to add to your vinyl thing, I mean, I spent more money on vinyls than I think anything else this year. So I definitely see the reemergence of vinyls.
For sure.
And just to add to Nadia, the Anthem House piece, I mean, talk about a unique concept. I don't think there's anything like it in Huntsville and probably in the entire state of Alabama, where you have both hospitality and multifamily and office and retail all within one building. So it's going to be really cool to see how that concept shapes itself. And it's very unique. And, I think I probably mentioned this a million times, how different it is. And same with Wellery as well. And I don't know if you wanted to talk about Wellery, but just to say again, how unique that concept is in itself, being, the first net zero multifamily project in the entire Southeast. We're so excited to see it open this year as well.
Yeah, I got to walk the roof where that solar panel system that Arco Murray Power Solutions has installed on the roof there. So the solar panels there will harness energy from the sun, and just kind of thumbs up from Memory, who really led that entire process. Will capture energy from the sun and power the community areas, the retail spaces, and the community spaces and the amenities of that building. And then the units are part of a unique program with Tennessee Valley Authority, TVA, that they will gather as much energy as they put out. So way smarter things than I can even begin to relay. But if you watch back to Remy's episode earlier this year, he talks a lot about that. So Wellery will open later this year, middle of 2025 as well. So we got 600 units between Metronome and Encore open, and about 600 units that are going to open in 25. So we'll double the amount of residents that are at MidCity by this time next year.
Yeah. And then I guess in 2024, we had the announcement of Dragon Alley as well. And that will be 2025, hopefully as well, potentially as a opening. And I think that element of dining is going to be something it's going to be really unique for MidCity. It's going to be really unique for Huntsville. And it's another sit down kind of place, which I think it's nice to have that grab and go and fast cash, but it's nice to be able to sit down and be served. And I think that experience and what they've been able to create in that environment from coming from REI down the street past Dragon Alley, I mean, it's just going to create sort of this diverse array of cuisine and shops and everything in between. And so I think that's something that I'm really excited for as well.
For sure. It's right at the north side of the district, which is what first thing that you see when you enter MidCity. So we really want that. We're really excited about Dragon Alley. They are replacing the former Wahlburger space, which is really, Wahlburgers served its purpose and was a great concept to have at MidCity. But we really want to try to focus more on original concepts and local restaurateurs. And the Dragon Alley team does a really great job. They have Komodo Ramen and Tout Le Jour. They're working on all sorts of other concepts at MidCity and throughout Huntsville. So sneak peek, right after this episode, we'll hear from Yunus Hassan, who is part of the HX Brands team that is opening Dragon Alley. And those guys, they travel a lot and they gain inspiration from these places that they travel in Mexico and in Asia, and they want to bring those types of concepts back to Huntsville. So really excited about Dragon Alley and what they're going to do there.
And not to mention, also to add to that, that they're also opening a concept next door called Dragon Bow, which is not going to be sit down, but it's going to be grab and go. So for those on the run, I'm really excited for that one. Actually,
Bell buns.
I know.
Yeah,
it's gonna be
bell
really
buns are
good.
gonna be
Yeah,
great.
he was making all of us hungry when we were recording that episode. So I mean, as we kind of wind out this episode, what else you want to kind of address for what maybe 2024 was, and maybe some things that you kind of are excited to build upon, and then the future's looking as we kind of wind up this episode.
Yeah. So a couple weeks ago, the city did a ribbon cutting of Apollo Park. So we have that 40-acre public park now open, which is awesome. I am a huge fan, lover, advocate for green spaces and public parks. I love spending dwell time in public parks. So I'm really excited to just see Apollo Park not have dormant grass and just be like green and lush in the spring. Great green spaces. There's an awesome walking and biking trail that goes all the way from Top Golf down to the Orion. There's an outdoor fitness area that I actually saw. I've seen me being here for the last couple of days. I've seen people using that outdoor fitness equipment, which I love seeing. It has a artwork commissioned by Jean-Michel Basquiat on there, which is really cool. So really excited about public park, the Apollo Park. This will already have happened by the time this episode comes out, but the Huntsville Run Club is doing a run night at Apollo Park this Saturday.
Wow.
So I love seeing things like that the communities are already getting into and using these public resources throughout MidCity. So Apollo Park's happening. We also completed design on the Tempo Hotel this year. So gearing up for breaking ground on the Tempo Hotel, which will be in front of, I don't know how to explain this. It's on the corner of Makers Way and Stack Street. So right in front of Wellery Living. There's a little corner right there just on the other side of where Google Fiber is. We're breaking ground on a new hotel, which is it's going to be a beautiful hotel. The interiors are done by a group called Studio 11. I've stayed in a lot of hotels that Studio 11 has designed as well. And they do a really good job. And they commission all the artwork in their spaces by local artists. So excited to see the art that's throughout the hotel there. Man, I'm going to check my notes again because lot happening. Oh, Block 13. So Block 13, we also started on, which internally we call Block 13, but it is the where Camp 2.0 will be going, which is just south of Metronome here. So we started and are nearing completion on the linear park that separates Metronome and Block 13 called Jake's Muse. So there's a really cool pedestrian only linear park that is going to be separating Metronome and the new camp location. So you'll see a bunch of trees going in. I'm looking at it right now. And then just on the other side is where we're going to be picking up and placing all of the things of the camp into the center of the district. So that'll be what will grow into the living room of MidCity District. You'll already see the Artemis Pavilion out here. A lot of people are like, what is that? What is that? Like, I get questions all the time. It's 4 brick walls made out of reclaimed brick and reclaimed trusses. We got those from Jason Butler and the Preservation Company team right here locally. He got those bricks and trusses for us. And it's a beautiful building that was designed by a local architect, Scott Scholl, and inspired by the White Pavilion in Greenville. So we're going to use that as an event space, as a public activation space. The farmers market will eventually grow into that. We already have somebody who wants to do a wedding in Artemis Pavilion, which I'm excited to see how that turns out because I'm sure it'll be absolutely beautiful. So that's just the first piece that's been built of the new camp location. So people can look forward to hopefully seeing the camp move. And we keep talking about this. I don't know how this will actually happen, but really want the community to be part of the moving of the camp. So we're going to throw a big party one day and say, all right, everybody pick up a piece of furniture. We're going to do a second line parade right down MidCity Drive to move the camp and have the community be a part of the move of the camp. which will be cool to see. So that'll anchor the east side of what is going to be this entertainment and innovation sub-district that we're building at MidCity. So the camp's going to anchor the east, and you have the Orion on the west. And so right now we're in design on an entire retail, hospitality, and innovation space sub-district that'll anchor the south side of MidCity district.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I think it's crazy to think about that we're 30% in. When we talk about all these things that have happened, all the things that are going to happen, it's incredible just to see what the future looks like. And I think as someone, and we talk about it a lot when Nadia and I are on podcasts, but as both Huntsville natives, it's crazy to think about this being here. Like it's hard to envision it being here, but now that it's here, it's hard to envision it that it wasn't here at one point.
I think it's so cool. The same person I met with at Starbucks this morning, she was like, yeah, I grew up here. I remember going to Madison Square Mall here. And now every time I come out here, there's something new happening. So it's really cool to be a part of that change. And yeah, only 30% of the day. So people, it's just going to get better from here.
And don't wait for the construction to stop, because it won't be stopping. You got to get out here and you got to see the space.
It's like renovating a house. Is it ever actually going to be done?
It's not ever going to be done. Rooms are going to get finished. Places are going to open, but the whole place itself is not. And so get out here, explore the place. It's exciting to see what 2024 has been for MidCity and for RCP as a whole. And I'm excited for 2025. And I thank you both for being here. It's been fun. I've enjoyed a lot of it, and I hope the audience has too. But thank you so much.
Come discover your new favorite restaurant, your new favorite artists, and be a part of what's being built out here.
And maybe move some furniture for us.
Oh wait, before we end, Tech in the Cities in January, because I think this will come out before then.
Okay, yeah, no, we're really excited. Through the Apollo Foundation, we're putting on an event at the camp called Techs in the Cities. We're gonna have I'm local moderator, and I don't want to go too much into the theme yet, because it's still getting hammered out. But we're gonna have basically a debate, and a little sneak preview. I think it's gonna be what the future of Huntsville looks like with defense versus non-defense. So I think it could get really exciting, because we got a lot of people that are passionate on both sides, and we're really looking forward to it. Plus there will be alcohol. So I'm sure I think that'll add to it a little bit.
So that'll be January 14th at the camp.
Yes.
They just did one of these in Birmingham.
Okay.
And so that team is bringing it to the camp here, and it's going to talk about the future of tech in the city in Huntsville.
Awesome.
So.
Yeah. And just to add to that, tickets will be going on sale. We expect a big turnout. Birmingham sells out. They're even doing one in Atlanta. So I think it's going to be pretty popular. So get your tickets when they come out.
A lot to look forward to.
Yeah.
So Clark, thanks so much.
Yeah,
thanks,
of course.
Clark.
And we'll have everything in the episode notes. So if we've talked about a lot, we'll have everything will be there. So if you want to reference anything that we've addressed, anything we've talked about, links to anything, that'll all be there. But I appreciate y'all being here.
Thank you.
Thanks.